Hey everyone, welcome to the Late Toy Show. Today we'll be talking about some Bane versus Batman toy photography, the McFarlane Build-a-Bane, figure mods, and practical effects.
Let the games begin.
Alright, let's start with the figure. If you watch the toy reviews, yes, it's true. You need to heat this up for the legs to properly attach. Also, his legs are a pain to pose. His hips are a bit loose, but his knees and ankles are ratcheted hard. You will get calluses from posing this beast. Unfortunately, I couldn't make the fists stick without the help of sticky tack. And believe me, these hands are heavy, and my feet had the bruises to prove it. Just a disclaimer guys, I am not a customizer. At least not in the sense that you talented people out there are customizers. I just make enough mods to make it work for toy photography. The pictures and reviews didn't really show much of the leg articulation, but they are there. It's just that the shorts were the problem, so I made them into briefs. I used a pair of nail scissors to cut off the soft plastic to enable him to make more leg bends. I wanted more knee bend, so I dremeled out some plastic to accommodate the huge calves and single jointed knee. It's not pretty, but it improves the bend a bit.
Will you die?
It would be extremely painful.
I also suck at paint, but I painted him with the flesh tone and some green veins. I would have been satisfied with his corpse gray look, but I wanted to use Juggernaut's open hands and wanted a semblance of color continuity. You really have to sand the elbow hinge down to keep your paint from rubbing, but I didn't have the patience to do it. Another piece to Dremel were the ab sockets. Like I said, this guy has articulation. It just needs a bit of help to get it where I want it to be. Although this Bane is based off the Last Night on Earth run, I wanted a more traditional Bane. So I added some venom tubes that went from the hole meant for Scarecrow into his neck and his left arm. The tubes are made from old speaker wires. They were red, so I had to paint the other one green. Later on, I made a Venom backpack from empty eye medicine bottles in a knockoff Lego Technique set. Someday, I'm going to make a better Venom backpack that lights up and uses sidelight fiber optic wires for glowing Venom tubes. For Bane's alternate hands, I used the open hands of a Hasbro Marvel Legends Juggernaut. I removed his leather knuckles and made crappy Bane gloves with a 3D pen and flexible filament. Again, I'm not a customizer, guys. In the shot, I detached Bane's arms to give him some butterfly joints and enable him to cross his arms and crack his knuckles. I almost ran out of sticky tack to stick those heavy arms and hands. You can still see the sticky tack here, I mean some Venom tube Bane, green things. Bane also can't look up, so I detached his head and used sticky tack for those crouching shots where he needed to look up. For this photo, I used this old flying rock debris prop. I made the rocks with some scrap foam, painted it black and dry brushed it gray, and stuck them in some scrap plastic from toy boxes. I have a stash of those in this bag. I also stuck some cotton to try and hide the edges better. This effect works better with a white background and or the focus in either the foreground or the background to hide the plastic edges. For these scenes, I especially made this damaged column and debris rock effect. The column is made from scrap foam board and styrofoam for the insides. The cracks were scored with a pencil, painted black, and dry brushed and sponged with gray. The debris effect was made with a 3D pen plastic base. I made some new rocks from foam board and stuck them on the ends of the plastic base. Then I glued cotton to make it look like dust cloud trails. I didn't glue this effect to the column for flexibility. In this photo, the wire stand holding Bane is hidden by the wooden crate, while Batman's cape hid his wire stand. For this shot, I dug out my fiber optic wires to simulate sparks. I used the wire stand to help prop up a few strands and used sticky tack to stick to the stand and to Bane's arm. I didn't need wire stands for the figures in this shot. For this shot, I wanted to try using some powder to get some dust and cement particles in the pic. I don't know if anyone noticed it, as it seemed too subtle in the final result. I don't know if the cleaning time was worth it. Also, Bane's walking pose could be improved more, and that left leg is awkward. After Bane broke Batman, I continued the series with Batman's comeback, this time using the Mafex Justice League tactical suit. In this shot, I laid a couple of buildings down to force some perspective, as I didn't have the space for a tall backdrop for this kind of angle. By this time, this figure already had a broken foot joint. His ab joint would break in the next few shots. I tried to use a cartoon-style impact effect with transparent plastic packaging, but I didn't really like the result. In a later Superman vs. Doomsday shot, I made an impact effect using clear filament instead. But that will be featured in another video. The wire stand is bent so that Batman's cape would hide the length, while Bane's face helped him balance. I used an old smaller explosion prop here, but instead of lighting it from the inside, I lit it up from the top left. That's it for Batman vs. Bane. Check out my Instagram for more toy photos. See you next time.